Hello, peace, and blessings. I'm Jovhannah, the spiritual love healer. I have noticed that I've had several new friends. I just wanted to introduce myself to you in this edition of Enter the Sanctuary. I've actually been putting this off. I've been meaning to do this for a couple weeks now and just have not had the opportunity. So I am going to take that time and do that today. I'm just going to leave that little filter where it's at because it's kind of cute. So, if you don't know, I'm Jovhannah, the spiritual love healer. I am a spiritual healer, I'm a spiritual coach, a guide, a teacher I'm here to help people that have experienced some sort of hurt, pain, or trauma to help them kind of pick up the pieces and move on, which is what I like to call living abundantly ever after. And why I kind of changed that, so I was like, well, what is the point of healing? What is it that we all want in this life? And the two main things, like when people come for readings or whatever concerns, it's relationships and it's money. And so those are two of the big things that I do like to focus on because they are important. So, a little bit about me. I'm located in North Carolina. I live in Raleigh. My plan, however, is to relocate to Costa Rica, which is what I was working towards, and then things kind of got derailed with the current situation. And so, that is still my goal, but it's just kind of changed a little bit. So, again, I have two girls. One is a first grader, the other is in college. Yes, it is so interesting to be a parent. That has been um, definitely my biggest teaching, learning lessons in life, and also a blessing. Savvy, who is my 6 year old, is a handful. She's very outspoken. She's very much driven. She loves the work that I do, which I think is amazing because she's always interested in like my cards and my crystals. Meditation for her necessarily does not work. She's somebody who like needs to move, so moving for her is a great way for her to meditate. So what else? So I started reading tarot, I believe, in like 2005. So I've been reading for, I guess, about what, 16 years now. I love tarot and oracle cards. They are one of my favorite tools for not only for divination, but for personal growth and spiritual development as well. I also love crystals. I always collected crystals as a child. Like I would just pick up rocks. I would be able to tell you like the mineral composition in them, although some of them I don't remember now, but I could tell you like what was in each rock and the different layers of the earth that they're found in and stuff like that. I really loved geology and astronomy and of course astrology, so all of these different things that I had an interest in as a child, not necessarily knowing that they had a spiritual connotation. I was always drawn to them. And tarot was one of those things too. I always like to read about like ghost stories and like haunted histories of places and things like that. There's lots of stories. There's the Cape Fear River here in North Carolina. There are lots of like ghost stories and pirate or shipwrecks and things like that. So I would love to like learn about that stuff. But I did not know that those things were magical tools, but I was drawn to them. I was always very intuitive as a child. I could hear what people were thinking, I could sense what they were feeling, and I would see other beings as well. So that was very interesting. Unfortunately, like growing up, I would say around 13, 14, I did kind of close off those intuitive channels, and going through a traumatic experience where I was like trying to reconnect with who I was, trying to find peace and healing, led me back to those very same things. One of the things that really helped me was my yoga teacher, Peggy, who I absolutely love. And she was a big part of my process because she did introduce me to meditation. I fell in love with it, and it was like the first time I was able to really quiet my mind and start to hear my intuition, hear myself again. And then from there, I got back into crystals and understanding like the metaphysical and healing aspects of these beautiful, beautiful crystals. And I know I have, oh yes, I like to show off my favorite. This is Labradorite, and you can see it has these beautiful blue flashes in it. And that for me is a meditation because I'll just sit for like hours and just stare at the blue flame or flashes of light that is within it. This is one of my favorite crystals, and I don't necessarily buy a lot of new crystals since I started working with this because this crystal does like everything. It's also known as Shaman Stone, and blue is my favorite color, so it's no surprise that I would be drawn to a crystal like this. But this is great for balancing your chakras, clearing your auras. It's great to aid in awakening like your psychic abilities. Meditation. This is a great crystal to aid with transformation or changes that you're experiencing as well. We've just entered Scorpio season. I am a Scorpio rising, so this is one of the seasons that I really love. And actually, during this time, I like to withdraw from everything and go within. But I can't do that because I have to talk to you and share information to help you get to your abundantly ever after. So for me, like showing up more, which is what you will be seeing me do, is like a big step because it's the exact opposite of what I wish to truly be doing. But I do love teaching and talking and healing. So it's great whenever I get to come and do something that I love. So I love working with crystals, like I said, and I do offer spiritual healing services. I offer readings, and then I have a coaching program, Abundantly Ever After, where I combine all of the tools in my toolkit. So I'm a spiritual life coach. I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I am certified in a few different forms of Reiki, including money Reiki, Asui, which is a traditional form of Reiki, Karuna Ki, which is what I like to call, like, it's great for like emotional support and dealing with like matters of the heart, clearing out emotional issues. So I find that though that really goes well with the Sui Reiki. And also in Aset Ka, which is a comectic form of Reiki as well. So I pull in all of these amazing tools. We do EFT tapping, meditations, and things like that to really help you to shift your mindset, release fear and limiting beliefs, and to help you find the ability to trust in yourself. That's something that I talked about in a live, I guess sometime last week or a few days ago, about trusting in yourself and how, especially for someone who's experienced trauma or just been hurt, like you don't necessarily know how or learn to trust yourself because you're not sourcing your own power. And so one of the ways that you can learn to trust yourself is by keeping your word to yourself, honoring your commitments to yourself, upholding your boundaries. So if you say like, I'm never going to text Johnny again, and then you text him again, you have like broken that trust within yourself. Whether you acknowledge it as being a way that you've broken trust or not, like subconsciously you've told yourself that I can't trust myself because even though I said I wasn't going to text this person, I did it anyway. So one of the things that we work on is really owning who you are, making peace with your past, but mainly really starting to focus on where you want to be. Hi, Katie. Oh my gosh, I miss you so much. I love the pictures of you and your family. We focus on who that you want to be. A lot of times we're living in the past and we're carrying all the baggage from the past that makes us think we can't be anything other than what we've experienced, or that we're damaged or we're broken, or life is never going to get better than whatever this level is, and that's not the case. So it's so hard for people to think outside of the box, and it's so hard for people to realize and recognize that even though maybe you didn't grow up in the best neighborhood, even though maybe you didn't have the best relationships or access to the best tools or resources or education, none of that matters. You can completely transform your entire life just by choosing to. But what happens, even if we say, you know what, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna do all of these things, and I'm even dealing with this now as I'm like trying to like grow my business and elevate myself, is like our mind is operating on old patterns and beliefs and habits and behaviors that feel so comfortable to us that we don't know that we're doing them. So it's like you're fighting, it's like the old you versus the new you. And you're fighting against things, and you sometimes don't even realize it until you become aware and start looking at, like, I said I was going to work out today, why didn't I? And maybe there's a subconscious belief that, your aunt told you were fat last Thanksgiving, so you feel like it's no point in working out. You're just going to be fat because that's the label, that's the story that you're identifying with, instead of saying, man, F her. Like, who is she? Like, maybe I am a little chunky, but I'm choosing not to stay this way. I know the future me is going to be healthy. She's going to be fit. And so now you start taking the steps to become that future person, to become the person that's healthy and fit, whatever that means to you. So it's a matter of you deciding to reinvent yourself. I like to call it rebirthing yourself. It's you're shedding layers of beliefs, you're shedding habits, you're shedding old thoughts and things that do not serve you, and you're allowing yourself to be kind of reborn into this new expanded, this new leveled up version of yourself. So that's some of the stuff that we do, and why I do that, like I said, is because I had to go through it, but I kind of went through it alone, and it took me a lot longer than it probably should have if I had have had the proper support and resources in place. And I didn't want anyone else to have to struggle and go through the things that I went through. So you get to benefit from the life lessons that I gained by navigating in these muddy waters by myself. But I think it's key to, like, we hear the term dream big and sometimes don't understand like what that means. And when I tell people like to dream big, it's like, think outside of the box, think outside of your current situation, think outside of what you think is possible, or what you're seeing on the day-to-day basis. If you could, like, who would you be without your past? Who would you be if you didn't have any of those past experiences? If you didn't feel limited by your income, if you didn't feel limited by who your family is or what they've done, if you could just wave a magic wand, what would your life look like? And that's the thing that you want to work towards. But unfortunately, a lot of us think it's just a dream, it's just a fantasy, not realizing there is a way that you can elevate yourself. And some of it does get into a little more spiritual or metaphysical, because there's a vibration to everything, right? This crystal has a vibration. We are electrical vibrational beings. And so we do get into some of those aspects, because once you start to train your mind and your thoughts, and you're really focusing on the thing that you say that you want, you can have it. You can have it, but we just have to get out of our own way. And that's one of the things that I was sharing, is that even as I'm like growing and developing, like I've gone through a huge wave of healing and transformation, but there are still levels where it's like I'm starting over, and there's still going to be habits and beliefs that I need to change and adjust in order for me to elevate to the next level. So one of the cheat codes is to really pay attention to what you're thinking and believing about yourself. And whenever you catch yourself telling an old story, or you're hearing something that somebody said to you that's not who you want to be or what you want to have or experience, change that. Be like, no, like, that's not true for me. I'm a person who X, Y, and Z. I'm a person who gets up and, I read every morning. I'm a person who gets up and I don't miss my workout when I'm supposed to do it. I'm a person who's committed to living abundantly ever after. I'm a person who's committed to honoring myself by changing my life. And you just continue to reaffirm, and you're making sure that you're feeding yourself, mind, body, soul, financially. You're feeding yourself with things that will sustain you, instead of taking in a lot of junk or garbage. And unfortunately, there's a lot of that goes around. So one of the things I also recommend is like really curating your Instagram feed. Make sure that you are, or social media as a whole, what you're watching on TV, what you're listening to, all of the things that you are consuming, make sure that they are in alignment, or they're of some sort of benefit to you with where you want to go. I'm trying to think, what else did I want to share? I wrote down some little notes just in case. So, yeah, I think that is it. Thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to say hello. If you have any questions for me, drop them in the comments or you can DM me. I will be going live a lot more frequently because I actually like doing it, even though I resist doing it sometimes. I do love coming on because I like to talk. I was always like on my report cards, Jovhannah is too talkative. Go figure. But I hear that is the case for many women like me. They got that we're too talkative label in school, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, I just want to be of support and encouragement that no matter what you have experienced in your life, whether you've been heartbroken, you've been through abuse, you've had some other traumatic experiences, you can absolutely heal, grow, and overcome those circumstances, and you get to decide who it is that you want to be. And so that is why I'm here. That is what I do. I offer readings, so you can click the link in my bio to check that out if you want to book a reading. I offer coaching, which will be private one-on-one support, and I am working on content for an upcoming membership that will be launching called the Spiritual Love and Abundance Collective, where we are going to really get into like all things like love, life, mindset, money, and setting goals. So we'll get together, set goals, you'll get support working through those goals, plus other resources like healing resources, coaching calls, group readings, lots and lots of stuff. I'm going to pour my everything into this space because I really wanted to come up with a way to give people the support that they needed at a reasonable price so that it's accessible for whoever needs it. And so that's where the collective is being coming through to be of service. I can't get my words out today. So yeah, and I also do individual healing sessions. There are a lot of things that I offer that are not on my website. But if you book a consultation, we'll work through what you are experiencing, and then I can recommend action steps for you. And if I have a service to support you, I'll share that with you as well. All of the links are in my bio. I love you. I hope you've had a beautiful day and have an amazing, abundant, prosperous week ahead. Peace.